Okay, hello Stampin' Buddies. It's Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. Usually I do it with my left hand. Let's see if this is gonna work. I started a few minutes ago and I apologize for the rough ride here. I started this a couple of minutes ago and could not get the orientation right. But now it looks like I have it. So I think we might be good. Woohoo! I tell you, it's a struggle learning something new. So let's see if hopefully we're good to go. I want to try to have it straight for you. So I guess that's good enough. I don't want to delay things any further. So let's just remind you of a couple of things. So again, welcome. It's Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, coming to you from Wisconsin. And it's actually a little after midnight. So it's Thursday, April 10th. I tried to start this on Wednesday because that's how late night Lori usually rolls. But, you know, when you're learning new stuff, and this whole YouTube live is a little different from doing things on Facebook. So I apologize for seeming a little disorganized. So we are going to make what I think is a cue card today, but I wanted to remind you of a special that I'm having only through April 10th. You can use this host code here at my store. So you can either scan my QR code or go to lorimacari.stampinup.net. And if you buy 6 packs of cardstock, I will give you one of them for free. So after you place your order using this host code, which is pretty important because that's how I'll track the orders. But if you use this host code today, technically, April 10th, and if you're in the United States, at my store, when you buy 6 packs, I will give you a rebate or a refund for one of your packs. All right. So with the new catalog that's coming out, there is going to be an increase for the price of cardstock. So now would be the time to stock up. And if you don't think you need any now, take inventory and see what you might need in the coming months, because it will probably never be the price it is now again. So that's that. This is the card we're going to make tonight. And I thought instead of a fun fold or really complicated card, we would go with something just a little more sleek, if you will. And, excuse me, this is what I decided to work on. And this is using the Sentimental Park photopolymer stamps and the Sentimental Park dies. All right. So these are in the catalog that's going to be ending in May. All right. So this is from the 2024 to 2025 catalog. And these are both on the last chance list. Now, the stamp set was originally priced at $24. It's now marked down to $21.60. Not a big savings, but still a savings. The dies, though, are amazing. I love these dies. And it's been a while since I've made anything with this, but I really love this. The dies, you don't even really need the stamp set. You could do a lot with the dies. And I'll show you, obviously, what I have done with just the dies and a little bit of the sentiments from the set. You can get sentiments from any set that you have. But the dies are originally $34, and they are now 50% off, so $17 for those. All right, the paper that I'm using is the Wildflower Birthday 12 by 12 designer series paper. I think I have shown this before. Some of my pieces are falling out. But these are some foiled designer series papers. They're always two-sided unless they're a specialty designer series paper. But here's the two sides. So you've got foil on one side and more of the matte finish on the other. Okay. Foil with the flowers and the matte side. And there's the foil with the birthday cakes. I guess I could put it right side up for you. All right, isn't that pretty? Fun paper. And I love these colors. It kind of reminds me of like Neapolitan ice cream. Now I'm going to be hungry for Neapolitan ice cream. This is a sheet that you can cut into make tags or even small card elements, note cards that would be perfect on. And these are some other pieces that you can cut out to make your designs. And that's the back side. And then this also comes with these ephemera pieces. So there are 2 sheets of these laser cut die cuts, all right? And some of mine are starting to fall out. So they are cut pretty good. So you don't have to do a whole lot to get them punched out of your paper. All right, and that's what some of these are that were falling out. So these are just some really fun elements that you could put on your cards. You know, if you're making a card, you could put them on there. You know, it would coordinate. So that's that paper. I used it before for another project. I don't remember what it was. But I thought I would use it today because I really liked this soft seafoam designer series paper. So let's set this off to the side and go through the pieces that we need. So if you've watched any of my videos, you know I don't like naked envelopes. So we're going to go ahead and take a 2.5 by 6-inch piece of the designer series paper that coordinates with the card. You can use a contrasting color. You know, if you're using some designer series paper that you have in your stash, you know, use your imagination. It's your card, right? I like to make mine either match or coordinate. So if I really liked like the opposite side of a piece of paper, the designer series paper, I might use the flip side for my envelope. I guess that's a little crooked. There we go. The beauty of Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue. You can shift it a little bit on the fly. Get that out of the way. All right, and then I just go around and trim that little bit of excess off. So I could probably cut this to 2.25 by 6 inches because I'm taking off about 1/4. But I have just found that it's easier for me to just cut it without this piece falling apart. And then if I don't get it lined up quite right, then I don't have a big problem. All right, so there's our envelope. That's all set. And then we are going to use soft seafoam for our card base. So when I do my card, I take my 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. I score it at 4.25 because that's half of my 8.5, right? And then I turn it and I cut it at my 5.5. That way I have 2 card bases ready to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold this and burnish this edge so it'll lay nice and flat. All right, so we can set that kind of out of our way. And then I have, pretend this is one piece. So this is a layer for the front that is 4 1/8. Okay, we'll come down here. Hopefully you can see that. So it's 4 1/8. So I went just a hair smaller than what my card front is. And then it is by 5 3/8. So 1, 2, 3/8. So not quite 5.5 because this is 5.5. So I just wanted it a little notch shorter and a little notch narrower to make a layer. Okay, So I'm just going to have a little thin border of the soft sea foam. Okay, see how that is? So that's how you get just that little thin border. Now, for those of you who are a little more frugal with your paper, you can cut out the center of this layer, because it's going to be hidden, right? So it's going to be hidden behind here. Nobody's going to see it. So you may as well cut this out. So you can either use a die, like if you've got rectangular dies. This is a new set of dies. And had I been thinking ahead, I could have pulled these out and I could have used them for my layers here, but they have all different edged designs. So I don't know that I really would have liked it on a more elegant kind of card, but I could certainly have taken like this and cut that out, or the next size up and cut that out. That's kind of the size. All I did, so if you don't have dies, you know, a lot of people don't want to invest in that die cutting machine, the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. It's kind of pricey. And if you're not doing a lot of stamping, or if you're just starting, that might not be something you've invested in yet. So all I did was I took my trimmer with this layer and I just moved it over to about 1/2 inch. And then I put my blade up about 1/2 inch and sliced to about 1/2 inch. Then I turned it and I did the same thing. And I just sliced, not all the way to the edge, obviously. And then I just turned that on all 4 sides so that now I have this piece. And then I can use this for the inside of my card. What luck. Okay, so that's going to become a layer with this piece. Okay, and that's going to be my inside. So this piece is about 3 by about 4.5. So this is about 2 3/4, should be by 4 1/4. Okay, so we're going to stamp on that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and get this glued to our card base. Now I like to cover all of my edges, but I use a very light layer of the glue. I don't like the thick lines because I don't want it to ooze out of the sides, and I don't want to leave a ripple on any of my paper. Sometimes it happens more on designer series paper than it does on cardstock, but if you put your glue too heavy, you can actually see the lines of the glue. And that was a little bit of a struggle there. Okay, so then the next thing is to put this on. Now this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. So basically our card size cut down 1/4 inch on 2 sides. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this on. And this paper, obviously it's a pattern, but it doesn't have any directional design. I'm trying to get this scooched over just a little bit. There we go. I think that'll work. All right, so there's that. And you can't even tell that I cut out the center of that layer, okay? So let me pull out these dies again, because what I did then is cut out some of these pieces. I cut out some little flowers. I couldn't decide what color I wanted. So this is Petunia Pop. That's a current in color that still has a year left. And this is Moody Mauve. So this is a color that's no longer going to be available once the catalog retires. And then what I did was I took these dies and I used this die for here. Now, like I said, this is on the last chance list, so once it's gone, it's gone. So if you really like this set, get it now, especially since it's half price. If I didn't already have it, I'd be snatching it up. And I'm going to miss this die in particular because that's just a really nice shape for sentiments. And then I used this one. Now, this one is interesting because it cuts but it doesn't separate all of these flowers. So what happens is you get this like pocket where this is going to go into. Okay, so that'll go on this side, and then you just have to kind of arc it a little bit to get it in the other side. And isn't that pretty? Now, depending on what kind of message you put on here, they could take out that little card and use it as a bookmark, or I don't know, if you said like, I love you, you're the greatest, or something on there, they could save that as a memento. And then these, I used this die because 3 flowers cut out all at once. Okay, so I did the 2 little ones in the middle, and all I had to do was run that through one time. Okay, there are some other flowers here that are the same size as that middle one, and then these provide an outline like here, only smaller, but I thought this was just enough pop of color. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way again, and we're gonna just stamp a little bit. So let me put this glue out of the way. We are going to use Night of Navy and the sentiment, Let's Celebrate. And I like to tap my ink pad onto my stamp, onto the block, because for me it's safer. I am less likely to get a halo of ink around my block, so it just works better for me. And then you don't have a lot of extra ink on your stamp either. Beautiful. All right, we'll get that out of the way. So this, we're going to put some dimensionals on. And I am using lots of almost gone sheets of dimensionals. And I just slice around the sides because there's all kinds of foam you can still use. It's got adhesive on it. We'll take this release paper off. I think the most time-consuming part of this card was when I did the die cut. I had to punch out, I just had to use my pokey tool on here and just poke through some of the pieces that didn't want to release through the die. So we can go ahead and put this here. And then we'll get the glue again. And I usually use tweezers. My glue bottle is all gunked up on the end. I'm not used to doing it right-handed. Let's try this again. There we go. And I'm just going to put these where the glue won't seep through onto that piece in case somebody does want to take that off. Yeah, I'd make a good little bookmark or something, you know. And I'm just mixing up the colors. So I'm using the Petunia Pop, and then I've got the Moody Mauve there. But I don't want to put it so that I've got all the colors on the same side. All right, so I'll just get these on here. If you're tuning in, leave me a comment so I know where you're coming from. Thanks for popping in. Like I said, I think in my last video, I am a putsy stamper. So this is my happy place. This is how I relax. My husband, every once in a while, he will say he is a Stampin' Up! Widow. Because I'll come into my crafting space or my studio, as I refer to it as, and Stampin'. He'll be out in the living room watching TV and stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do is put a little word, just a single word on the inside. And this is going to say you, because let's celebrate you. And I'm just going to move this down now. You'll notice that I don't have the word lined up on my block because I don't watch, typically, I don't watch the edges of my block. I watch the edge of my letters to try to get it straight on my paper. So hopefully that worked. And then let's go ahead and close up the ink so I don't have a little accident here. And so far I've done really good not smudging anything. It is not uncommon for me to get ink on my fingers and then accidentally smudge something that's supposed to look pretty pristine. Okay, and then we'll just put some glue on the back of there. And again, a little glue goes a long way. So I do just a thin layer. That looks pretty good. We can put that away. And now we're going to get to the point where we put our final touch on, and that's just some embellishments. And I'm using these iridescent pearls, basic jewels. Now on this one, I put a couple in the big flowers, but I didn't want to just have, to me it would be kind of overkill to put it in all the flowers. I wanted it to look special, so I only put it in the big flowers. And I like to use my Take Your Pick tool to just push it off the plastic. If you don't have one of these, you need one of these. And then we're going to put just a few more, because I like to have an odd number of embellishments on my card. And on this one, we did 5. So I'm going to put them in the same place that I had the other ones. On my prototype that I did just moments before going live. So here's my card. So tonight I did them basically the same. Other nights I've done varying colors, but I liked this color palette. So this is what you get. All right, hopefully you like this. And well, let me straighten this out again. If you like the card, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you share my video, that can help me expand my reach. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. You'll get notified when I have new videos. And I appreciate you stopping by and spending a little time with me crafting. And don't forget about my little special. So if you need some cardstock, today's the day. All right. I doubt that I'll extend the offer, but I might. You just never know. All right. Depends on how many people are taking advantage of it. But as a reminder, if you came in late, if you use this host code at my store, LoriMacari.stampinup.net, if you buy 6 packs of cardstock to avoid the price increase from Stampin' Up, I will give you one of those packs for free. So I will basically rebate or refund the cost of one of your packs. By using this host code, I can track your order. So I appreciate any orders. And I think that's all I have for you tonight. So until next time, let's see if I can turn this off. All right, so until next time, happy stampin'. And of course, the end button is right where it's in my camera holder. So now, until next time, happy stampin'.